opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
The opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
Hello, everybody, and welcome inside a Friday episode of Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you, as always, by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town. I'm going to go ahead and put them in the top right-hand corner of the screen so you know where to go. If you are ever in the market for a new or used vehicle, make sure to check out our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austin Town, right there, top right corner. They will go the extra mile for you so you don't have to. And we try to do the same here on this show every single day. And we thank them for their constant support of Running Point and YSN and everything that we're able to do on the network and on this show. Let's have a good one. Let's go into the recap section of the show. As always, we start with this. Let's pop up the scoreboard, which is brought to you by Burnett Pools Spas, which is on ysnlive.com/scores. It's a great tool for the fans, whether you're at one of the games live or you're watching one of our broadcasts. You don't want to look away from the screen for too long, and the YSN scoreboard is a great tool for you to quickly find the live updated scores for whatever team you're looking for, whether it be your rival or maybe your friend. Maybe your friendly rival, who knows? The point is, the scoreboard is live updated by a great team behind the scenes where we make sure that this scoreboard gets as live updated as possible so you don't have to wait until midnight for the final scores to come in, and you'll get them right when you pop on, whether it be in the first quarter, second quarter, or third quarter, whatever quarter you want to pop in on. A lot of these scores will be live updated. Let's go into the scoreboard, see what happened last night. We'll start in East Palestine, the Bulldogs with 3 wins in 3 games this week as they take care of Valley Christian. Final score there, 51-11. So a great week for East Palestine. They'll look to continue it next week on Monday as they take on a Latonia team that is struggling right now. So you got to think, like, this East Palestine team has a really good chance of winning 4 games in a row. And when you go into Monday's game, the Bulldogs are on a run. You go into the next game, another one inside the EOAC, United taking on Latonia. This was an early varsity start, and United was not faced by the change of routine. 41-12, they get the win in Latonia. All Eagles there for that one. Southern Local bounces back from their loss earlier in the week. They beat Wellsville 51-33. That is Wellsville's first loss of the season, so that's an impressive one for Southern Local. We'll start with these first 3 rows, and we'll scroll over like we always do. McDonald gets the close, tight win over Lowville, 35-31. This was a game where McDonald trailed for a lot of it. They trailed after one quarter. They trailed after the half, 20-16. They trailed by 1 going into the fourth. A very close game, very defensive game. But in the end of the day, McDonald with a couple of threes down the stretch, one from Grace Callow and a great design inbounds play that got her an open look from the corner. And at the end of the day, McDonald gets to win, and they were led by Sierra Shiley, the post player for them that has just been waiting for a breakout day. You talk to Tony Mattizi, and he says, we've just been trying to get her as comfortable as possible in the paint and just waiting for her to find that game, that breakout game. They saw it in the summer a couple of times. They were able to see what the potential was, but they just needed to find a way to get her comfortable, get her confident, and they're definitely hoping that her 16 points last night is a big way that she can take a lot of confidence into the rest of the season, because McDonald needs a post presence. That's just, you can't survive in the MVAC Scarlet Tier without one, especially when you got teams like Springfield and teams like Western Reserve that both have pretty good presences in the paint. You can't go without someone down there that can hold their own. And Shiley last night did a really good job of doing that with 16 points, and a lot of them came inside the paint. She was able to just find a way. Lowville actually got so enamored with covering her that's what made other people open. And McDonald is just hoping that happens. They're hoping the teams get so enamored with trying to defend the post that they lose the guards and Juliana Crumpack and Grace Callow and the other girls on that team that are capable of hitting shots, capable of making plays. So if you lose them, you're gonna be in for a long night. And Lowville, especially in that fourth quarter, tended to a little bit overcompensate on their defense in the post because they were getting beat quite a bit by it. And because of that, guards were able to take over and have a pretty good fourth quarter. Juliana Crumpack had 9 points, and then they had Lowville was led by Sydney Prochik with 7 for Lowville. So another big key, by the way, is the name that you don't hear that you've been hearing for the Rockets is Serena Tyke, who did not have the game that they need her to have to win. She's been leading them all year. So you really good for Coach Modelski. The other people got some scoring time and got the confidence to score and lead the team, but you need your scorers, you need your leader scoring to have good games to win in conference play. So that's going to be something that the Rockets try to build off of. And McDonald with a big win on the road in the conference. Anytime you can steal a win on the road inside the MVAC Scarlet Tier, you're doing something right. We go on to the next game, Columbiana all over Lisbon, 51-20. The final score there. The Clippers just keep on keeping on in the EOAC. We had Cheney all over Hubbard, but pretty good fourth quarter for the Eagles. Cheney had to hold on and withstand a little bit of a rally by Hubbard, but with the lead they put up in the first half, it was no trouble. Final score there, 56-43. Cowgirls get the win. We go on to the next one in the row. Crestview gets the big win over Liberty, 60-13. Crestview taking care of business. They're going to have games like this where they're just the better team. They come into the gym, they're the better team, and they have to be able to do the small things in that kind of game. I've said this before in past seasons. When you're playing a team and you're dominating the way that Crestview is, You got to look for things in tape that you can do no matter who you're playing, that you execute, the small things that you can't execute in those kind of games. And those are what the great teams do. They say, hey, did we run this play perfectly despite what the defense wasn't able to do to stop it? Did we still execute it well? You want to see if you won and you scored with execution, not because of your superior talent. And when they watch the film in games like this, and they're going to have more games like this, Crestview is a good team, and there are going to be teams on their schedule that don't match up with them. So they're going to have to be that kind of team that looks on the film and really looks past the scoreboard to judge themselves on this win. And that's a challenge that a lot of teams have that are dominant. They have to be able to watch those games, watch that film where they were winning by 40 plus points. Okay, but did we do this the right way, even though they didn't stop it? Like, did we still execute it well? Did we still run it right? Did we still do the small things that we have to do every night, and that are going to be really more important when we play teams that can play with us? So that's just a little point there for Crestview, because I think they're going to have more games with scores that look like this. And you can't fall in that trap of being like, man, we just won 60-13. We played perfect, so we don't have to really change too much, because I know that score can make it seem like Crestview played a near perfect game. But at the end of the day, if you can't watch the film and say, well, we executed that shaky, but because our talent level is just a little bit better right now, we still scored. Let's fix that. And I think Crestview's going to be able to do that a lot this year. They are well coached. I mean, Coach Blatch does a really good job, so I have no problem seeing them be able to keep ahead on the domination that they are able to have. We stay in that MVAC gray tier. Newton Falls was able to beat Camo Memorial 46-24 in a big win for the Tigers. Pymatuning Valley still undefeated on the season, and they win in a big way over Ashley Beulah St. John. The final score there was 76-45. Youngstown East gets the win over Lakeview 44-38. Beaver Local falls in a tough one to Bel Air 63-33, the final score in that one. Boys basketball last night, Edgewood hosted Spire, got the 56-50 win there. In wrestling, West Branch got the 58-24 win over United. Probably feels good. West Branch lost to United last year in wrestling, so getting the win in dominating fashion this year, 58-24. The final there. South Range versus Southeast Wrestling. If you were looking for that game got canceled. We had it break right about halfway through the show yesterday. So even though that game was supposed to be the first broadcast on the network, unfortunately, it did get canceled. So we had to nix that broadcast, of course. So we will have wrestling on YSN. Don't worry, it's coming. And our YSN wrestling page on social media, especially Instagram, give them a follow. They released their first week wrestling standings, so wrestlers standings on the YSN map. We'll go over that after the scores. We'll dive into what these standings for wrestling look like. Middle Ridge got the big win over Sebring, a balanced offense. You look at them, Gianni Gilbert contributed well. Sandy contributed well. Ava Hewlett, obviously. And then Lily Marilillo did a really good job scoring. All of them were in double figures. So, you look at Middle Ridge, they're a dangerous team. That MVAC Scarlet tier, people are starting to chalk it up to Springfield. But Middle Ridge looks pretty dang good right now. So watch out for the Rams. Remember, they went into the district tournament last year, and they went into the tournament as a 500 team. So to be able to do that and make that waves in the tournament, they're a young team. They have more experience. They have great leadership in Ava Hewlett and a couple of seniors that are good leaders, especially off the court. So you think about this Middle Ridge team and how hungry they are and how good they're going to be. I think Springfield and Middle Ridge is going to be a heck of a game when those two collide later on in the season. I was at this next game. Garfield falls to LeBray, 51-28, the final score there. And this was the first time that Coach Mandy Rowe beat Garfield in her coaching career. So that felt good for her. This is a game that lopsided at the end, but there were a couple of instances where you saw Garfield have the pieces there. They have definitely a brand new roster. Like Mandy Cardinal is the only player that returns that had quality time last year. Everyone else, saw the varsity floor a little bit, but everyone else that was a key contributor, especially offensively, to last year's team that won a district championship for the third time in a row, graduated. So you have Mandy Cardinal coming into last night, I should say, averaging 17 a game, trying to carry them on her back offensively. LeBray did a good job defensively on her. She only scored 7 points for the G-men. So props to LeBray for shutting her down. But you could tell that there were parts in this game where Garfield, you saw that they had the pieces there. They saw that they had the elements of being able to play with LeBray, but there were still stretches where the youth would take over. Live ball turnovers would turn into easy layups. Defensively, they would lose LeBray's best player in Ella Kuzmal, which the game that she had, like, you have to really quickly recognize that you can't lose her in defense and give her open looks. Garfield did. She had 17 points at halftime. Kuzmal came into the game averaging 13 per and had 17 at the half. So that tells you what kind of a performance she had. Coach Mandy roasted after the game like they've been waiting for her to have that breakout game, that like I was talking about with Sierra Shiley from McDonald with Coach Matizzi saying we've been waiting for her to have that game that just, turns on the light bulb, even though Kuzmal had three really good games, averaging, like I said, 13 per coming into last night. They wanted that one where she was able to really just have her way. And that was last night, 21 points to finish. She was able to just do whatever she wanted. She shot really well, especially in that second quarter where she went on a 9-0 run by herself with back-to-back-to-back threes. That was when LeBray took control of this game. It was a 3-point LeBray lead after one quarter. So the first quarter, Garfield played really well. They were right there playing good defense, right where you want them. And then in the second quarter, like I said, by herself, Kuzmal went on a 9-0 run. And then LeBray just slowly but surely, pounded from there. Opened the half, Garfield started to come back, but then halfway through that third quarter, it was, like I said, more of those young bugaboos where turnovers started to stack up, especially the live ball turnovers. They gave LeBray good opportunities in the open court, and Garfield just couldn't sustain that consistency. So I was talking to Coach Gilbert after the game, and he says, the pieces are there. You can see it, and I think I could see it too watching that game. He's got what it takes to build another winning team, but it's going to be a lot different than last year, and it's going to take some growing pains. They're going to have to take a couple of games like this where you'll watch the film and you say, it's right here. First quarter, it's right there. We played our butts off in the first quarter. We kept it close. We were right there. Start of the second half, when you're down 24-12, you come out in the second half. You're not giving up. It's right there. You just got to find it. You got to bottle it. You got to keep working hard. One of the things that he said that is a struggle point to this team, I was talking to him so far, is the way he worded it, I thought was really cool. He said, you're going to pay for the 10 years of winning that we've had. Every team, no matter what your record is when you go into that gym, every team's going to treat you like the 20-win season we had a year ago and the winning that we've had for 10 years, because there are teams that we have beaten consistently for the last 3 or 4 years that want that shot. And when they get that shot, they're going to take it. So he said, there's no one that you're going to get their not good game just because your record's not good. Like, you can't lazily walk into a gym because you are going, I love how he said it, you're going to pay for the 10 years of winning that we've had here at Garfield. So you have to outwork people. So he's just trying to instill that culture into this team that they're not going to win with talent alone. This is going to be a Garfield team that if they win, if they find their winning ways, it's going to be because of effort, work, tenacity, and physicality is one of their strengths, I think. I think they were very physical with LeBray. I think they played a very good physical defense, style of defense, especially in those spurts where they were having success. Mandy Rowe even said in her post-game interview that you can find on her YouTube page and on the article on ysnlive.com. She said that was probably the most physical game they played this year, and it might be one of the more physical games they play at the end of the season because Garfield was doing a really good job of bodying up, pushing people around. They have the strong body types in there that are going to not be easy to get around. So Garfield, that's one of their strengths. I think their physicality and their defense. You look at their first two games before this one, holding teams below 50 both times. You hold teams in the 40s, you're going to have a chance. And especially that Crestwood game, losing in overtime by 3, 47-44. Heartbreaker there. So I think Aaron Gilbert, as frustrated as he is right now, and he's a guy that hates to lose. So talking to him after a loss, you're gonna feel every sense of that hatred to lose right after the game. But I think he'll realize really quick. He probably already does today. Like this is really early in the season. We're 0-3, but there are things I can do with this team. And once he finds out exactly how to utilize everybody's strength and to put them in the really best position to win, Garfield is going to be, I think, a team that can make strides down the late half of the season. I don't think they're going to be a team that goes, 3, 4, 5 wins this year. I think they're going to find ways to win with their defense, with their physicality. And then I saw some other players kind of step up and have scoring stretches last night. I think Colby Fresh played really well offensively at times. I liked what I saw from the Tasker girls. They both played very well at times. It was just stretches, those little stretches where you could see the glimpses of what this Garfield team could be. There's a lot of sophomores on that varsity roster. Like they have to get confident. They have to be able to believe in themselves. They find a result here and there, then that's going to happen. So I liked what I saw out of Garfield. But LeBray, we'll talk about them for a little bit because they're obviously the team that won this game. I want to give them their due. One, I love the balance on offense. I love the balance on offense will win you so many games. Ella Kuzmal had a great game, 21 points, yes. But they came into that night with four girls, that were averaging more than 7 points per. Two of them averaging 7, one averaging 9, and then Kuzmal averaging 13. Riley Rowe played a really intricate part in the fourth quarter because Garfield was starting to put LeBray at the line, trying to scrap back into it. And she hit her free throws really, really well, finished with 12. I really like what I see from Marissa Levinsky. She's able to score pretty well, came into last night averaging 7. You got Scruggs that's averaging 9 points per game. You got a really good ball handler in Mia Sloan that got the offense moving from the top of the floor. I really like LeBray's offense. I do. I think there are still young mistakes, and they're a young roster just like Garfield. But when they're clicking and they're staying away from turnovers, they're dangerous. They're very dangerous defensively too. I thought they do a really good job of staying with their people and bodying you up. They were up for the physical challenge. I like their maturity on defense, their communication. They were in the right places. I like this LeBray team. I like what I'm seeing from them. They're obviously in a tough conference. They have Crestview there. I'm interested to see what kind of they do against Crestview later on in the season when those two teams play in conference play. I'm excited to see what they do against Newton Falls. I think that'll be a pretty good game between two pretty physical teams as well. Coach Baker down there in Newton Falls is always going to put a team on the floor that knows how to be physical. So I'm excited to see what LeBray does. I know they're trying to be a resurgent program, but they have a lot of young talent, and I like what I'm seeing from the Vikings. Last score to go over is we finish out this final row on the scoreboard. Springfield all over Jackson Milton, and they had their first MVAC Scarlet Tier win. Final score there was 53-25. Talking to Coach Matizzi after the Poland game on Monday, and he realizes they have 2 losses on this season, but they're by a combined 3 points. And who they lose to? They lost to a Crestview team that was a 2 seed in the district last year. That is a team that could be in a district conversation this year. And they lost to a Poland team that is just known for winning. Right? Say what you will about Poland's roster not looking nearly as good as it did last year, but this Poland team just knows how to win games. They know how to just find ways to win. They know how to play good defense. They found a way to win against Springfield in overtime, right? So those are two losses where, talking to Coach Battisti, he goes, those are going to get us ready for the MVAC Scarlet Tier. And he told them after the game, at least he told me, he goes, when you go down to Jackson Milton, it's going to feel like a completely different basketball environment because it's not Poland. It's just not Poland. Jackson Milton is the team that is trying to rebuild the program, and they've obviously gotten their first win on Monday in over 600 days because their program missed a whole year because of numbers. So there's a lot of newness in Jackson Milton. So I think Springfield went into this MVAC Scarlet Tier opener with the right mindset, not letting it get too dire that they've had two losses early on in the season. They realize we lost to really good teams, and we lost to them by a combined 3 points, one of them in overtime. So I think the Tigers are not losing confidence. I wanted to see the layover. I wanted to see how they handled the layover, I should say, from losing to Poland on Monday and coming into conference play on Thursday. And you didn't see any. There was no slump. They came in, they set the tone early. They led from the jump. There was no slow start. There was no question in this game who the better team was at all. So I like to see that from the Tigers because, like I said, when you come in off of a state run where you go to state, you come in really high on yourself sometimes. And when you have two losses early in the season, it's really easy to quickly lose the faith. But Coach Battisti hasn't let that happen. The leadership on the floor from the roster hasn't let that happen. And Springfield off to a good start in the Scarlet Tier with that win over Jackson Milton. Once again, final score there, 53-25. You can check out the post-game interview with John Battisti on ysnlive.com. That will be on the website and also on our YouTube page. If you're watching on our YouTube page or you go to watch any of our interviews, I want to remind you that you can hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We post on there almost every day. A lot of video content, some of it exclusive to YouTube. Some of it goes on our website as well. Post-game interviews, coaches' corners, player profiles, game highlights, full games sometimes are up on YouTube. You don't want to miss a minute of any of the content that we put up on that page. So make sure to hit the subscribe button. And then if you are kind enough to do that, make sure you also hit that notification bell on the side next to the subscribe button, because that is how the YouTube algorithm can get you. Because if you're not notified, you can definitely miss some of our videos. You don't want to do that. You don't want to miss any of the fun stuff we put on our YouTube page. So make sure to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and stay updated on everything video-wise that we post on ysnlive.com. Hear from the players, hear from the coaches, see all the action on our YouTube page. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have more Running Point brought to you, as always, by our good friends in Austintown over at Greenwood Chevrolet. We will be right back. Don't touch that dial. Who's watching on a dial? If you are, don't touch it.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun, it all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at myersfamilyins.com or find us on Facebook.
Your culinary adventure awaits at Legends Food and Drink. Experience a welcoming ambiance while you explore our appetizing menu featuring over 20 meals under $20 and over 30 lunches for $12 or less. Our private dining room seat between 10 and 20 at no additional cost. And don't forget our spacious 35-seat bar for your favorite sporting event. Book your special occasion in our elegant banquet room that seats up to 150 comfortably. Legends Food and Drink, a taste you'll remember. Market Street and Route 224 in Boardman.
Ty Bartell in with another edition of Coach's Corner. This time we head over to our friends in the Niles community, home of the Red Dragons, with the boys basketball head coach Jesse Harden Jr. joining me today. Coach, how are we doing today?
Coach, I'm doing great. We just had a scrimmage against a great Louisville team, and we handled our business, and I'm very happy about it.
I mean, you got scrimmages going on, practices are you're in the middle of practice season right now as well. What are you liking when what you're seeing from practices? What are some positives?
The intensity is big, and I love that. I see that we're competing, and my players are showing a lot of confidence.
Let's talk a little bit about those players too. I want to get a little bit of a meet the team segment. Obviously, the roster may not be finalized before the December 1st date right now, but what are some big name players we can expect to see on this Red Dragon squad?
We have Steph Dorsey, 3-year letter winner, Anthony Budak, Antoine Gardner, Avon Fryer, True Carey Harden, Yassine Blackman. The list goes on and on. Everybody is versatile. Everybody can help each other. Everybody can play their role and help us be successful.
Are you a believer of carryover success? Because this football team had a really good year. You have some names I recognize from that football team on this squad. Are you a believer of carryover success after experiencing what a winning culture feels like?
Of course. They bring that winning mentality. They bring that toughness. They bring that grit. So that's one of the things that I expected from the football players. Niles basketball hasn't been at its best, but I know the football players can help us get to that, knowing that they have experience winning, and that's where we want to be. And hopefully they can help us take another step in the right direction.
Coach, I'm kind of curious about your journey getting into this Niles basketball program. Where did you find yourself into this program? What's your kind of journey leading up to this?
I was at Warren JFK. Before that, I played professional basketball overseas for a few years, and I was under Coach Comlack and Coach Hughes over at JFK. Crazy thing is, I never thought I wanted to coach. I was that guy. I was like, no, I'm just gonna play, and I love the game. And the opportunity presented itself, and I put my name in the hat, and they drew it, and now it's time to have a little bit of success.
You talked about Coach Comlack too, and I mean another one of my favorite coaches to talk to. Always a great mind for the sport. But you also talked about your experience overseas. Through all your basketball experiences, what are some of the biggest things you've learned that you've carried into coaching that you feel like you can help some of these younger generations with?
One of the things I learned from Steve Arnold, my high school basketball coach, was if you don't have grades, you don't have anything. So the big thing for us is now study tables, and being consistent with grades and being consistent in school, because you can't do anything without that, like I just previously said. So that's the main focus.
Let's look at this team a little bit. You talked about what you got, and obviously this answer may change by the end of the season. We might have a completely different answer, but what are some early strengths that you see on this Red Dragon squad that you guys are going to have to play to in the season?
Our defense. Defense will be our moneymaker. If we can continue to defend like I know that we can, we'll have some success. Not saying that we can't score the ball, but when you can play defense, it'll open up the offense.
I think this conference is going to be very fun in the NE8. I mean, 7 teams, NE7, whatever you want to call it this year, I guess. But it seems like a fun conference because it seems like you got a lot of those competitive-like teams too. And there's some ideas of who might take it away, but it's kind of wide open, I feel like, as well. What are you seeing from conference competition this year, and what do you think the conference is going to present challenge-wise for you guys?
Listen, day in and day out, I know we're going to have to compete. There are no days off, no games off at all, because you would think a team at the bottom always going to be an easy win, and then you're in a dogfight. And when you're in a dogfight, you never know how the ball's going to roll.
You look at that, pair that with the non-conference schedule too. I mean, I know you're getting into the head coaching range too, but I'm sure you took a look at it. What are some of the games on the non-conference slate you're kind of excited for you guys to face?
Howland, of course. Howland, that's our rival. Newton Falls. We play Brookfield. They have a good guard, and Mateo Fortuna. Who else do we have? Lordstown. So we got a few, and Edgewood. I know they like to shoot the ball a little bit. So our out-of-conference schedule is solid, and it's going to make us work. It's going to prepare us for that late tournament run that we want to make. So once the games get going, we'll see.
For the Niles community that's interested in coming out to games, what's the culture and the brand of basketball they can expect as under Jesse Harden Jr.?
Oh, the intensity. That's the biggest thing. We're going to bring intensity. We're going to play exciting brand of basketball. We need everybody in the community to come out. I know football team has that support, stands or field. Let's do the same thing and field stands for basketball. Make it loud in there. It's our home court. We need that home court advantage. And come watch basketball.
You talk about trying to just step into it and start building a program too. What are some of the goals personally for a head coach when you step into a program like this and you start trying to lay down that foundational work of what you want this to become?
Honestly, just taking it one day at a time. Don't expect the tradition and culture to be built in one day or 1 week. It takes years to build that tradition and culture, and I'm willing to put in the time to get where we need to get.
What about this Niles community that has been so special for you too? How have they been support wise early on for you? I mean, I know you called them out to get out there. They packed the stands for football season. I expect the same for basketball season as well. But how supportive has this community been for you guys?
Everybody has welcomed us with open arms. Everyone has been very supportive, asking me if I need this, if I need that. Everybody's been lending a helping hand. So everything has been easy for me. It's been a great transition. And now we're about 13 days away, and I'm hoping all the people that ask me if I need help fill the stands up and tell a friend to get to the game and show us some love.
Like you said, Coach, we're rapidly approaching the beginning of this season. Are there some excitement, some butterflies in your stomach? I know you've played overseas, you've been in high pressure situations, but this got to be a different feeling for you.
I'm so excited. I can barely sleep at night, and it's 13 days away. I'm juiced up, ready to go. But that's the competitive nature in me. Like I try to take it one day at a time, and I tell the kids that. But I'm already looking to December 1st when we take that bus ride to Champion, and hopefully handle our business and do what we have to do.
Coach, you talk about building a program. You talk about it's one day at a time, and obviously it can't happen with just one person either. It takes a collective group effort to get this thing going. What's that coaching staff look around you? What kind of staff did you build around you for this program?
I built a staff that knows basketball, but not just knows basketball, that loves basketball. I feel like to be successful, you have to love it. You have to put in time, and you have to love kids. I'm big on the kids. I'll do anything for the kids. So the staff that I put around, Andre Edmonds, Javon Dixon are my varsity guys. And I know that they love the kids and they'll do anything for them. And they've played the game and they love the game. That's the biggest thing. Kids need somebody around them that has played the sport and loves it and wants to put in a lot of time and effort with them.
You talk about that. That kind of leads into my next question as well. And a theme that I'm asking a lot of head coaches this year, and it goes to that love of the game of basketball too. And like you said, it's that love of the game that got us all started in the sport. It's the love of the game that keeps us coming back, no matter our role in it, what we do for the sport, how we contribute each and every season. So my question to you is, where did that love of the sport of basketball begin for you? Do you have a pinpoint moment, an earliest memory, or maybe a time frame when you started falling in love with the sport?
I can remember from when I was younger. My mom put a basketball in my hands. I still remember a little tight hoop. We used to put bricks in it so it could be higher so I could practice shooting. And I used to play at the YMCA. And from that point on, I knew that basketball was going to be my thing. And my family was very supportive of that from a young age, from playing AAU and traveling and things of that sort. So from my earliest standpoint is that little tyke soup, the orange and blue and white tyke soup that I'm sure a lot of us had back in the day.
It really was like an early memory, and I feel like a lot of us can share those early memories of shooting in the little tyke soup. Just a quick follow-up question, just because of all the unique experiences you've had in such a young early coaching career now you're starting into in such a young life. What are some of the most impactful things that you've taken away from the sport? Is there some advice, a quote, maybe something a coach has told you or something along the way that you kind of hold close to your vest?
Coach Arnold always tells me, be patient. What's meant to be is gonna be what it is. Don't get too high, don't get too low. You're not gonna win them all, even though we all want to win them all. Just remember that you have to take care of these kids, and one win, one loss doesn't determine anything. And like I said, just be patient.
Well, Coach, we're so excited to have the Niles Red Dragons a part of the YSN network once again this season. We're excited to have some basketball games on the network this year for you guys, as we're excited to see what you're able to do with this program. We're rooting for you, and we wish you the best of luck along the way.
I appreciate you guys.
We appreciate you guys as well, Coach. This has been a first edition of Coach's Corner with the Niles boys basketball skipper, Mr. Jesse Harden Jr.
Thank you.
That was Ty Bartell with head coach over there at Niles for the boys basketball team, and Coach Harden, and first-year head coach for him, and he's off to a good start for the Dragons. Already got his first career win for the Dragons, so congratulations to him. And with that being said, let's pop into the schedule for tonight. We went over the recap from last night. Let's see what's happening tonight in boys basketball on a Friday. TGIF. To close out the weekend, let's go to the bottom of the page and click on December 8th, 2023, and see what's going on. We have boys basketball. The rivalry continues. Beaver Local at East Liverpool. Columbiana going to Lisbon. We have Waterloo going to Garrettsville Garfield. Middle Ridge will try to bounce back from their 10-point loss to Champion and travel to Hubbard. Campbell Memorial going to Poland. That should be a really good one down there in the Poland Fieldhouse. Niles, who whose coach you just heard from with Ty Bartell in a pre-recorded Coach's Corner. They will go to Brookfield. Lowville goes to Warren JFK tonight. Toronto going to Edison. We have Howland on the road at LeBray. Southern Local goes to Wellsville. East Palestine welcoming in Valley Christian. East going to Liberty tonight. Lakeside will go to Grand Valley. Springfield goes to Crestview tonight. And Lakeview will travel to McDonald as well. In the girls basketball stage, a couple of Ashtabula County games as Conneaut hosts Harvey. Edgewood in action against Geneva, and Jefferson will host Perry. The Jefferson boys will also be in action on the road, by the way, against Cleveland Benedictine, which should be a very fun one. Jefferson with that 1-point loss to Pymatuning Valley in their last time out. So they're trying to get that taste out of their mouth with a game tonight. Let's go over your announcer crew, who will be where in tonight's action. And you can watch every game tonight, by the way, on ysnlive.com/live. We'll start with girls basketball. Edgewood will be on the network against Geneva. Larry Jennings will be there for the call. Then in boys basketball, Beaver Local and East Liverpool, I'll scroll up, will be called by Gary Burton and Scott Rogers. The Poolin students have you covered for their boys game against Campbell Memorial. Noah Rick's going to be in LeBray, whereas Howland goes to Leavittsburg. The Lakeview crew back at it as Lakeview travels to McDonald. Sam Ballas and Jake Nicholas going to be on the call there. Rick Daly going to be in Lisbon for the call against Columbiana. We have Matt Marr and Jordan Barber on the call for Niles at Brookfield. Southern at Wellsville will be covered by Gary Altizer. We have Noah Doty on the call for Springfield at Crestview. Tim and Dan Figley going to be in East Palestine for that one against Valley Christian. And then Garrettsville Garfield, their school, will have you covered for that game against Waterloo. Want to remind everybody, too, that United versus Latonia, which was originally scheduled for tonight, has been canceled, so that game is not happening. Over the weekend, here are the games that you'll find on the network as well. And we'll scroll over to that scoreboard and show you all the games that are happening over the weekend, since we won't get to talk to you until Monday. Girls basketball, Heartland Christian at Jackson Milton, Liberty and Niles. Jefferson will travel to Girard. Boardman goes to Poland as part of their United Way Classic. There are 4 games going on down there at Poland, 3 boys and 1 girls game. And then last on the girls' side, as part of the big classic down there for Hoban, they have Gilmore Academy coming on at 7:30. We'll go over that whole schedule for Hoban basketball on Saturday and Sunday as they're welcoming in a bunch of big programs into the castle down there in Hoban. Boys basketball also at Poland for the United Way Classic. Girard boys will be there against Hickory. Canfield is going to be there against Ursuline. That should be a fun one. And then last, rounding out that United Way Classic, the Bowling boys will play Boardman. Also in action tomorrow at 2:30, Struthers go into Liberty. We'll have Orange playing against Cleveland JFK. South Range will host Cheney. Western Reserve will host Matthews, and Conneaut will host Ashtabula St. John tomorrow night as well. Now, we'll go over the entire schedule of that Hoban Classic because that should be a really fun one. I think Ty Bartell is going to be down there all day for all these games to give some of these teams a good taste of what YSN can bring to the table. So here's your schedule in Hoban. It starts out in the morning. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m., Field versus Massillon, Washington. 10:30 a.m., Apple Creek, Waynedale versus Laurel. Whoa, that is the 2 teams that could play in the regional final in Cuyahoga Falls. At noon, St. Joe's Academy against Chagrin Falls. At 1:30, Thomas Worthington against Lutheran West. 3 o'clock, Harvest Prep versus Blackhawk in Pennsylvania. 4:30, we have Bolingbrook, Illinois against Cathedral Prep from Pennsylvania. 6 o'clock, we have Toledo Central Catholic against North Allegheny from Pennsylvania. And then Archbishop Hoban will take on Gilmore Academy to round out the night. On Sunday in the morning, 11:30 a.m. in Hoban, Toledo Start versus Olmsted Falls. At 1 o'clock, you have Laurel versus Bolingbrook, Illinois. At 2:30, North Allegheny versus Stowe. At 4 o'clock, Conotton Valley against Rittman. And then Archbishop Hoban will round out the Sunday slate with a 5:30 game against Toledo Central Catholic. Barry Gymnasium, host of the Hoban Hoop Fest tomorrow with girls basketball, having a bunch of huge programs from not just around the state, but also bringing in someone from Illinois as well in Bolingbrook. So it should be a fun time in Akron tomorrow with Ty Bartell, and Sunday as well. All the games can be found on ysnlive.com/live. And thank you. We didn't shout out the announcers. Let's do that. Let's shout out the announcers for tomorrow real quick. Ty Bartell will be in Archbishop Hoban for all those games I just mentioned. We have myself will be at Jackson Milton tomorrow for the Jackson Milton Heartland Christian Girls game. We have Matt Marr going to Girard for Jefferson and Girard. And we have Ian O'Brien going to be in Niles for the girls basketball game between Liberty and Niles. Boys, we have WOW TV covering the Conneaut game. Noah Doty going to be in South Range for Cheney at South Range. Cleveland JFK will be at Orange, and the school over there at Orange will take care of that. And Tyler Hartz will have you covered with Grand Valley hosting Lakeside. So all that will be covered. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find it. You can find me on Monday on Running Point from 1 to 2. But until then, have a wonderful weekend. Thank you so much for tuning in today, and we will see you all next time.